Frank, why did you suddenly say something like that? Do you really want to get a divorce as badly as you made it seem?
Suddenly? You think it's sudden? That's just your perspective. You really don't realize it, do you? You're the kind of person who has no clue when they're being abusive. And that is why I've finally found the courage to leave you.
Abusive? Me? What are you even talking about?
Don't play dumb. No, honestly, you probably don't even realize you've been abusive. But I've been suffering under your behavior for so long.
Oh, wait a second. I admit there were times I was harsh on you. But it went both ways, and I don't think I ever did anything so bad that you could call it abusive.
That's exactly it. That's your version of the story. Even when I told you I was exhausted and barely holding on, you'd still demand I do chores. You didn't even wash my clothes in the laundry. You kept yelling at me to earn more money, and then you stopped cooking meals for me altogether. With treatment like that, how could I not start thinking about divorce?
What are you even saying? Hold on a minute. Yes, I guess that's how it ended up, but before it got to that point, I told you plenty of times, didn't I? I told you there was an order to the laundry and to stop randomly using the machine. But you ignored me and used it anyway, so I had to stay up late to wash the things that really needed to get done. That's why I stopped doing your laundry and told you to handle it yourself.
It's just laundry. Let me use the machine whenever I want. The fact that you try to micromanage something as basic as this is awful.
It's not micromanaging. It's about scheduling. Housework isn't something you can magically shorten. It's a huge workload every single day. While one load of laundry is running, I'm doing other tasks. Then, when it's done, I hang it up. How can you not understand this after living with me for 20 years?
Shut up! That's just because you're slow and inefficient at everything.
Slow and inefficient? How dare you say that? You don't even help with the housework, and yet I've been doing all this while holding down a job. And as for the money, I only told you to stop wasting it. If you're going to spend that much, at least earn enough to cover it first.
Stop acting like you're some kind of victim here. I'm the one who's been suffering. Nicole, please just let me go already. Divorce me. Living with you makes my life unbearable. I'm at my limit. If this continues, I'll end up as nothing more than your puppet, losing all sense of myself. Let me live freely.
How selfish can you be? This isn't about control. I was trying to work with you as a partner. We've been together for 20 years. Does that mean nothing to you?
It means nothing. Actually, I hate you.
What?
I've always hated you. If I'd known what living with you would be like, I would have divorced you ages ago. I should have claimed my freedom years earlier. That way I wouldn't have wasted 20 years of my life with you.
Wasted? I see. So to you, the time we spent together was nothing but a waste. If that's how you feel, fine. But don't regret this decision.
There's no way I'd regret it.
Fine. In that case, let's get divorced.
What? What the hell was that earlier? Why were you getting picked up in a limousine?
That was, well, just something that belongs to the person who came to pick me up.
What? Are you kidding me? Their own?
Yes, it's true. It belongs to someone who has been helping me for a long time. They're actually quite wealthy and apparently own things like limousines and luxury cars.
That makes absolutely no sense! Rich people don't just go around helping ordinary nobodies like you! What even are you talking about? Seriously, is your head okay? This sounds so ridiculous I don't even know where to begin! Honestly, I panicked when I saw the limo pulling up outside. I thought for a second it might actually be something impressive, but no, of course. It's just one last petty little jab at me, huh? One final stunt to try to get under my skin. You really couldn't resist, could you?
That's a pretty harsh way to put it. Do you really mean it? That there's absolutely no love or care left for me? After all, we've been living together for 20 years. Are you saying there's not even a shred of anything positive left between us?
Nope, not a single shred. Looking back on it now, those 20 years were nothing but pure hell for me. Honestly, when I think about it, it's just bad memory after bad memory. The kind of stuff I never want to revisit again. So yeah, get out of my life already. The sooner the better. Nicole! Wow, I have to say, you really came through for me this time. Seriously, I'm impressed. You actually managed to do something useful for once. Honestly, if you had been this helpful all along, maybe we wouldn't even be in this situation. Who knows, maybe we wouldn't have needed to get divorced in the first place.
What? What are you even talking about?
The housekeeper, duh. She showed up today out of nowhere, and I have to admit I was shocked. At first, I wasn't sure what to make of it, but wow, she's a real pro. She's unbelievably efficient, doesn't complain, and gets everything done without me even needing to ask twice. It's been amazing. Honestly, I don't know how I ever managed without her.
A housekeeper? I didn't send anyone to your house.
What? But she said she was here on your behalf. Well, whatever. It doesn't really matter to me. She told me everything was already paid for, so I'm not complaining. I'll just take it as your way of trying to make amends, huh? A little parting gift to smooth things over. Not bad. Good effort.
Wait a second. Doesn't that seem a little suspicious to you? And you're just going along with it without questioning anything? So, I just got a text from him about something. This wasn't you, was it? Oh, it absolutely was me. I knew it. What are you even thinking? What are you trying to pull here? What do you mean, what am I thinking? I simply thought it would be a good opportunity for him to realize just how much you've done for him over the years. Don't worry, I'm not doing anything illegal. It's all legitimate. I'm providing proper housekeeping services and everything is above board. There's no need for you to stress about it, okay? Stress? You've got to be kidding me, Maggie. How am I supposed to not stress about something like this? You do realize how terrifying you can be when you're upset, right? Oh my, I have no idea what you could possibly mean by that.
Hey, can you get in touch with that Maggy woman? She just vanished all of a sudden.
Oh, so now it's convenient to contact me. You unilaterally divorced me, yet you only reach out when you need something. How ridiculous. I don't believe I owe you any kind of response.
Shut up. You're the one who sent her, so you're the only one I can ask. I've been trying to contact her, but she's ignoring me.
For the last time, I told you I didn't send her. Why don't you get that? Anyway, what do you need from Maggie? And what exactly do you mean by disappeared?
She just stopped coming out of nowhere. Until yesterday, she was handling all the housework and everything else for me.
Well, I guess it's time for you to start taking care of things yourself then.
Don't be ridiculous. My relatives are coming over in 5 days.
Yes, the famously perfectionist parents of yours. I can see why that might be a problem.
Exactly. Can you imagine what they'll say if the house is in shambles? This is all your fault. That helper you sent did a half-baked job, and now I'm left in the lurch. You should come over here and take care of the cleaning yourself.
Excuse me? What are you even talking about? Have you lost your mind? Why would I come over to help you? And need I remind you that, according to you, I'm the woman who supposedly tormented you for 20 years with emotional abuse? Why are you even thinking about asking for my help? Isn't that completely contradictory? Normally, you wouldn't even want to speak to someone like me, let alone rely on them.
That's, not the point.
Let me guess, you told your parents that everything is perfectly fine at home even after the divorce, didn't you? Just like always, you've been putting on a facade to maintain appearances. Back when we were married, you loved playing the role of the perfect husband who could manage everything, including housework. Meanwhile, I was the one doing all the actual work.
Hey, I helped out with housework sometimes.
Oh, is that so? Then you should have no problem handling things on your own now. Don't drag me into this, although, to be honest, I doubt you'll manage. A man who couldn't even put a single sock in the laundry basket when asked repeatedly isn't exactly cut out for household chores.
Damn it, you're absolutely useless!
Coming from you, the most incompetent person I've ever known, that's a laughable thing to say.
Hey, this is getting ridiculous. You're neglecting your duties.
Well, Frank, calling it neglect of duty, are we? That's quite the accusation.
Finally, you decide to reply. Took you long enough. Now get back here and finish the housework already.
Why should I? My assigned responsibilities are already completed.
What the hell are you talking about?
My role was to organize Nicole's belongings and take them out of the house. That's all. The housework I did was incidental, as keeping things tidy was necessary to complete my primary task.
Wait a minute. Are you saying you weren't even hired as a helper?
I never said I was. If you recall, I clearly explained at the beginning that I was there at Nicole's request to sort and pack her things. I never once claimed to be a housekeeper, nor did I enter into any kind of labor contract with you. So I don't believe I owe you any explanations or assistance.
You've got to be kidding me! Do you have any idea how much trouble you've caused me?
I believe your relatives are coming to visit soon, correct? Why not simply show them the house as it is? During my time there, I observed that you are entirely incapable of managing even basic household tasks. Why not let them see the truth?
I could handle it if someone just taught me how to do it!
Oh, is that so? Very well. Let me give you a brief lesson in household management. Let's start with laundry. Contrary to popular belief, it's not as simple as tossing everything into the washing machine and pressing a button.
What? Isn't that the whole point of having a washing machine?
Not quite. While the washing machine does handle the washing and drying processes, there's much more to it. Clothes need to be sorted by color, fabric, and type of care required. Different detergents and fabric softeners are used for different materials. Ignoring these details can ruin your clothes.
Can't I just wash everything together?
Oh no! If you do that, you risk colors bleeding, fabrics shrinking, or clothes becoming wrinkled beyond repair. And using the wrong detergent can damage the garments as well. You also need to plan the order in which you wash items, especially if you have limited time or space. Skipping these steps can cause major problems later.
This is way too complicated!
And that's just the laundry. We haven't even touched on cleaning, cooking, and the many other aspects of household management. There's a lot more to it than you realize.
If it's so much work, can't you just help me out a little? It's impossible for me to do everything all at once.
It's funny to hear that coming from someone who never even lifted a finger to help before.
What's that supposed to mean?
When Nicole asked you to help with small tasks, like putting your dirty socks in the laundry basket, it was a reasonable and simple request. Yet you refused and dismissed her entirely. You even called her nagging a form of emotional abuse. And now you expect me to step in and help you with housework? Isn't that the same thing you criticized Nicole for?
No! Housework is supposed to be a woman's responsibility! I'm just not good at this sort of thing!
You were the one who said you could handle it if someone explained it to you, weren't you? Well, I've explained the basics. The rest is up to you. Good luck.
Wait a second! You can't just leave it like this! I still don't understand everything!
Let me clarify one more thing. Household management is about consistency and planning. It's not about doing everything perfectly right away. Start small.
Start small? Like what?
Begin with one room. Clear the clutter. Make a checklist if you have to. Dust the surfaces, vacuum or sweep the floors. Don't overthink it.
What about the kitchen? It's a mess!
The kitchen is critical. Start by washing all the dishes. If you've been leaving them in the sink, soak the tough stains. Then wipe down the counters and stove. A clean kitchen is essential if you plan to cook.
Cook? I've been ordering takeout!
How's that working out for you?
Expensive, and the portions are tiny.
Then learn to cook. Start simple. Scrambled eggs, sandwiches, maybe some pasta. You don't need to be a chef overnight.
This all sounds exhausting!
It is, but it's necessary. Welcome to the real world. Now, if you'll excuse me, I've got things to do. Good luck, Frank.
Wait! Don't go just yet! I really need help! Can't you just come back, please? Damn it! Because of you, I ended up in a huge embarrassment! What are you gonna do about this? This is all your fault, and I can't believe you're just sitting there while I'm suffering because of your actions. I can't even show my face to anyone anymore because of you. How are you going to fix this? How can you even look me in the eye after what you've done to me?
Embarrassment? What exactly are you talking about? What happened? Did someone say something to you?
My parents, for one, said they knew this would happen with you. They were all saying that they could see this coming from a mile away, and they didn't hold back when they were running their mouths. They said whatever they wanted, and none of it was good. They went on and on about how they always thought this would happen. And then my brother and sister, can you believe this? They brought their kids over, and the first thing they said was how dirty and messy the house was. My kids were so embarrassed. Even my nieces and nephews started making fun of me, saying that I needed to clean up and organize the room. It was humiliating. You know what? It's all your fault. You never bothered to teach me anything about housework before you decided to leave. If you had just taken the time to show me, none of this would have happened.
Hold on a minute. I did teach you how to do housework. You've forgotten all the lessons I gave you?
What do you mean? What are you talking about?
I taught you everything you needed to know. I showed you how to use the washing machine, how to clean the house properly, everything. But you didn't listen. You were too busy thinking that you could figure it out all on your own without asking me. You thought it would be easy, that you could just do it if you tried hard enough. But you didn't, did you? You didn't take it seriously, and now you're paying the price for it. This mess is entirely your fault.
You're absolutely kidding me! You're saying it's my fault when you didn't even teach me the right way? You really think that? You seriously expect me to believe that this is all on me? If you had just taken the time to explain everything properly, I wouldn't be in this situation.
I'm not kidding you. It's the truth. I did teach you, but you were too stubborn to listen. You thought you could do everything on your own, and look at where that got you. Don't you dare blame me for your laziness. The fact that you never learned anything isn't my fault, it's yours. And don't even start talking about me being the problem. You're the one who wanted a divorce, not me. You're the one who decided to break his family apart. So don't come crying to me now, pretending like I'm the villain. You have no right to do that.
Shut up! You're always talking like you know everything! I hate people who act so high and mighty like they're always right! You've been nagging me non-stop ever since we got married! It wasn't like this before! When we were dating, you were calm and collected, but once we got married, you started showing your true colors! You started acting like I couldn't do anything without your constant supervision! Do you even realize how suffocating that was? I feel like I've been tricked into this whole thing. I'm the real victim here, and you're just making it worse!
You're really just going to keep acting like you've been wronged, aren't you? You've been playing the victim for so long, but I'm done with it. You keep pretending like everything is everyone else's fault, but the truth is, this whole mess was caused by your own actions. It's pathetic to watch, really. You know what? Looking back, spending 20 years with you was the biggest mistake I've ever made. It really was.
Damn it! Damn it! What the hell did you do to me? Now because of you, I've lost everything! I can't even keep my job at the company anymore! I've been completely ruined, all because of the things you said! You were just supposed to be a maid! How did you even manage to do something like that?
Oh, Frank, it looks like the situation was handled properly, and I'm glad to see that action was taken. It's a relief to know that everything's been dealt with.
You've ruined my life! Now people at the company are saying that I'm a sexist, that I'm some kind of misogynistic monster, all because of what you told them! Do you have any idea how bad this is for me? I can't even walk into the office without being judged! You've turned my life into a complete nightmare!
Well, isn't that the truth? I made sure to let your company executives know exactly what was going on, so I'm not surprised.
What do you mean by that? Why did you even do something like this? Why couldn't you have just stayed out of it?
Well, you see, I happen to be a major shareholder in the company.
What? A major shareholder? What are you talking about?
Oh, didn't Nicole explain that I'm wealthy? I even arrived in a limousine to pick you up, but you never seemed to understand what was really going on.
Wait, was all of that true?
Yes, it's absolutely true. I understand it's hard for you to believe that someone wealthy would work as a maid, but let me explain. I was originally an investor and made my living through stocks. I had a family, husband, children, but I lost them all in an accident. It was a devastating time in my life.
Why would someone like you be doing something like this? Why would you ever choose to work as a maid when you could live off your wealth?
Well, my family died in a car accident, and I was left all alone. The house felt so empty and depressing that I couldn't stay in it any longer. I didn't know what to do with myself. I needed to do something, anything to get myself out of this depression. I randomly found a housekeeping service online and thought, why not? Maybe I could help someone else while also keeping myself busy. That's when I met Nicole.
You met Nicole?
Yes, Nicole had just lost her mother, and her father was always busy and hardly ever home. She was left all alone, crying over the death of her mother. I saw myself in her. I couldn't stand seeing her like that, so I made it my mission to make sure she didn't have to feel that loneliness. I've treated Nicole like my own daughter. She means that much to me. So, when you hurt her, it's unforgivable. What you did was completely unacceptable.
But why? Why would you go so far for someone else's child?
Nicole had been struggling in her marriage for a long time. Her husband wasn't pulling his weight around the house, and he seemed to have little respect for the household duties. She was trying so hard to make things work, to keep her family together. But even when things became unbearable, she didn't want to choose divorce. She loved him, and she wanted to stay married to him. She was willing to make things work, even when it was hard. But in the end, things fell apart, and she had no choice.
You're talking like she's innocent in all of this. But I was the one who had to deal with her nonsense, too.
Did you even understand what you were getting into when you got married? Did you go into it with any kind of serious commitment? You were strangers before you got married. There's no way everything could go perfectly. Marriage is about compromise, understanding, and working things out together. But you never tried to meet her halfway. You expected her to change while you stayed exactly the same. That's the problem.
But why the hell did you report me to the company? Why make it public? It was a private issue between a husband and wife.
Because someone who thinks they are the only victim and tries to destroy others for their own benefit will cause harm to the company. People like that are usually already disliked in the workplace long before they're called out. And you've been pushed to the edge, haven't you? That's why you're stuck in the corner of the office, getting gossiped about. Everyone believed my report, and that's the proof.
Damn it, why is this happening to me? I haven't done anything wrong. Why is everyone blaming me? Nicole, please stop being upset and come back home. I'm sure we've had our misunderstandings, but there's no reason for this to be the end. It would be so lonely if things ended like this. Is our 20 years together really so fragile that it could be ended over something so trivial? Was it really just something so easily destroyed? Please, Nicole, answer me. This can't be the end of everything. We've been through so much. You know, when we first met, everything felt so perfect. It felt like we could do anything together. I thought we'd have a future, a long one. But now, it's like I don't even know who you are anymore. You've changed so much, Nicole. You don't understand how hard it's been for me. I've made mistakes, but I'm really sorry. I can't lose you. Please, don't let it end this way. I don't want to live the rest of my life with regret. Come back, Nicole.
It's interesting, isn't it? The way you send such convenient messages. Even someone like you, when you're backed into a corner, turn into a Romeo. Just like all those other men who try to fix things with words when they're in a tough spot.
No, this isn't about that. I'm truly sorry for everything. I'm genuinely regretful.
Don't think you can fool me that easily. I see right through your intentions. You've been mocked by your family, treated like an outcast at your job, and now you're looking for someone to understand you, right? Well, I'm sorry, but there's no one left who will accept you or your behavior. No one cares about you like they used to.
That's not true! Don't you remember that we've been together for 20 years? We've built so much together.
For 20 years, I've been the one enduring everything. Don't forget that. It wasn't a one-sided effort. Marriage isn't something that should be taken lightly. It's because I was committed to it that I stayed for 20 years. But I can't keep doing this. I've reached my limit. You're the one who brought this to an end, and now you need to take full responsibility for that.
Responsibility? What do you mean by that?
I'm going to file for alimony for emotional abuse.
What? Alimony? Why would you do something like that?
You were the one who decided to end our marriage, to throw me out of the house, weren't you? And do you know what? I've been keeping a journal. Honestly, I didn't think it would come to this, but everything you said, every emotional manipulation and insult, was recorded there, right alongside all of our good memories. You can't just erase that.
No! No way! You can't be serious! Are you really going to turn your back on me like this? Don't you feel sorry for me? Haven't we been together all these years?
Feel sorry for you? Is that what you think?
What do you mean?
Because honestly, no one feels sorry for you. Your family is ashamed of you. Your coworkers are talking about you behind your back. No one is standing up for you. Everyone can see through it all.
Well, that's...
It's because it's so obvious to anyone who sees it that this is all your fault. The emotional abuse came from you. Wake up and face the truth. No one, not even a single person, feels sorry for you. The only one who doesn't see that is you. Maggie, I don't know how to thank you. You even covered the lawyer's fees. When everything settles, I'll make sure to pay you back.
It's nothing really. If rich people don't spend their money, the economy won't grow, will it? But more than that, I care deeply about you. I wanted to help you move forward without any lingering resentment.
Thank you so much. Honestly, I've never had anyone like you to rely on. My relationship with my dad is complicated, and my mom isn't around anymore. I've always been on my own, in a way.
Well, I can't replace your mother, but I'm so glad I could be someone close to you, someone who cared for you like family.
Actually, there's something I've been meaning to ask. would you consider living with me?
With you?
Yes, I've been thinking about it a lot. I want to repay you for everything you've done for me. I know you're not my mother, but to me, you're more important than that. When I was a child, I didn't have to face loneliness because of you. Now, I don't want you to be alone. I know I won't be able to match your income, but...
Nicole, thank you. That means so much to me, to think we could live together again. What a wonderful proposal. I had always thought that I would just spend my old age quietly by myself. But now, it seems like there's so much more to look forward to.
Wait, don't say old age! I still want to spend so much more time with you. I don't want to think of it like that.
Nicole, are you sure about this? I don't want you to feel like you're doing this out of pity for me. I want you to know that whatever you decide, it's because you want it, not because you feel obligated.
No, it's not pity, Maggy. It's about love. I love you, and I want you to feel the same way I do. I don't want you to feel alone or abandoned. You've been there for me when I needed it, and now I want to return the favor. I want to be there for you too.
But what if it's hard for you? What if it gets difficult and you start to regret your decision? I don't want to be the cause of your unhappiness.
I'm sure of this, Maggy. I know we'll face challenges, but we've faced hard times before, right? And we've always made it through. I believe in us, and I believe we can make this work. Let's give it a try.
Are you certain?
Yes, I am. I want to do this. I want us to be together, and I want you to feel loved and appreciated. I want to help you. We're family now, and family doesn't leave each other behind.
Maggy, I can't tell you how much this means to me. I've been so alone, so isolated in recent years, but now, with you, I feel like I finally have a chance to make things right. I'm not sure what the future holds, but I know that with you by my side, I'm not afraid of it anymore.
You won't be alone, I promise. We'll face whatever comes together. Frank ended up in debt because of the alimony payments he had to make after the divorce. It wasn't an easy situation for him, considering that his income was never very high to begin with. He didn't have much savings, and whatever little he did have, it was barely enough to get by. I had always taken care of the finances during our time together, managing everything, making sure bills were paid on time, and handling the household expenses. Frank, on the other hand, wasn't involved in the day-to-day financial decisions. He preferred to leave it all to me, trusting that I knew what was best for our financial situation. In hindsight, I suppose that wasn't the healthiest way to handle things, but that was how it was. Given that his financial situation was already strained, the added burden of paying alimony after the divorce was something that he had never anticipated. I can't say I felt sympathy for him, not after everything that happened between us, but I couldn't deny the reality of his situation. The money he had to pay was far more than he could afford, and he had no choice but to rely on credit to keep up with the payments. He had already been living paycheck to paycheck, and this additional financial pressure only made his life more difficult. As his debt grew, he found himself in an even tighter spot. It wasn't just the money he was struggling with anymore. It was the constant fear of what might happen if he couldn't keep up with the payments. The truth is, Frank never really understood the value of managing money wisely. He was never the type to plan ahead, to think about the future, or prepare for any unexpected events. Everything was always about the here and now, about his immediate desires and needs. That kind of thinking doesn't work well when it comes to long-term financial stability, and Frank learned that the hard way. His spending habits were reckless, and his lack of financial literacy only compounded the issue. He had relied on me to keep things in check, but once we parted ways, there was no one left to manage his finances for him. The reality of the situation was harsh, and it was clear that Frank would have to face the consequences of his own choices. Now, as I look back, I realize just how much of his isolation was self-inflicted. Frank's inability to think beyond his own immediate desires, his selfishness, ultimately led him to this point. He had never bothered to truly invest in relationships outside of our marriage. His friendships were shallow, and his connections with family members were strained. He had always put his own needs first, leaving no room for meaningful connections with others. When we separated, Frank found himself alone. His financial problems became a reflection of his personal life. No one was there to help him through the tough times because he had isolated himself. The loneliness that Frank now experiences is, in a way, a direct result of the way he lived his life. It's the perfect outcome for someone who thought only of themselves and never considered the impact of their actions on others. Meanwhile, I started a new chapter in my life. I didn't want to dwell on the past or allow Frank's choices to continue to affect me. I wanted to move forward, to create a life that was better and more fulfilling, so I decided to start living with Maggy. We've been living together for some time now, and I can honestly say that it's been a wonderful experience. It's a different kind of life from what I was used to, but it's one that I cherish deeply. In the past, I used to handle everything myself. I carried all the responsibilities, all the burdens of the household, while Frank sat back and took it for granted. It was a lonely existence, and I often felt overwhelmed by everything that needed to be done. But living with Maggy has changed that dynamic entirely. We share the responsibilities now, and the burden is much lighter. I don't have to do everything on my own anymore. And there's a sense of partnership and camaraderie that I never had before. We cook together, clean together, and support each other in ways that I never thought were possible. The difference between living with Frank and living with Maggy is stark. Frank was never a partner in the true sense of the word. Our relationship was one-sided, with me taking on the majority of the responsibilities, while Frank remained passive. But with Maggy, it feels different. She's an active participant in everything we do, and I appreciate that more than I can express. Living with her feels like being part of a real family, a family where everyone contributes and supports one another. It's a beautiful thing. And I am truly happy in this new chapter of my life. There's a deep sense of satisfaction in knowing that I am not alone anymore. In the past, I used to feel like I was the only one holding everything together. But now, I share that load with someone who genuinely cares. It's not just about the chores or the household tasks. It's about the emotional support, the feeling of being understood and valued. Maggy and I have become a team, and that is something I never had before. It's a source of joy and comfort that I never knew I needed. As for Frank, I'm not sure what the future holds for him. His financial troubles are only the surface of a much deeper issue. He still has a long way to go if he wants to rebuild his life, and I honestly don't know if he's capable of making the changes necessary to move forward. He's spent so many years focused solely on himself that it's hard to see him shifting his mindset now. Frank's isolation is a reflection of the way he lived his life, and it's not something that can be easily fixed. I suppose, in a way, he brought this upon himself. If he had been more considerate, more responsible, if he had valued the people around him, maybe things would have turned out differently. But now it's too late for that. I've learned a lot through this experience. I've learned that I deserve more than to be someone's caretaker, someone's emotional crutch. I've learned that I deserve a partner who shares the load with me, who values the things that truly matter. I've learned that it's okay to let go of people who no longer contribute positively to your life. And most importantly, I've learned that happiness doesn't come from financial stability or material wealth. It comes from the relationships we build and the love we share with those who truly care about us. Living with Maggy has shown me that I can still find joy in life, even after all the pain and disappointment I've experienced. It's a reminder that happiness is possible, no matter the circumstances. It's not about wealth or possessions. It's about the connections we make, the people we care for, and the moments we share. And for the first time in a long time, I feel truly content. So, while Frank may continue to struggle with his own choices and the consequences of his actions, I have found my own peace. I have found a new sense of happiness that is not dependent on anyone else but myself. I no longer feel burdened by the weight of responsibilities that I once carried alone. Instead, I feel supported, loved, and truly at ease with the path I am walking. And that is something I will hold on to for the rest of my life. What I didn't expect, however, was just how transformative this new life would be for me. Maggy has not only become a housemate, but a true companion. Someone I can rely on for much more than just shared responsibilities. She has become a part of the emotional support system I never realized I needed so much. We laugh together, talk about our dreams, and share our frustrations. These little moments of connection are what make this experience so rich. It's not about the tasks we share, but the emotional and mental space we give each other to simply exist. To be ourselves without judgment, and that, in itself, is a gift I never thought I would have again. In hindsight, I see that everything I thought I needed before, everything I thought I had to sacrifice, wasn't truly what I wanted. I was so focused on fulfilling roles and obligations that I had forgotten what it meant to live for myself. To create a space where my happiness wasn't defined by someone else's needs or desires. Now, I realize that the freedom I have is priceless. I'm not tied to anyone's expectations but my own. And while Frank may still be struggling to find himself, I have found a new sense of peace, independence, and, perhaps most importantly, a sense of belonging. Living with Maggy has opened my eyes to the many layers of happiness that I had long overlooked. It's about the small, quiet moments of companionship, the laughter shared over dinner, and the reassurance that no matter what comes our way, we are in this together. I no longer feel weighed down by the expectations that once consumed me. I am free to be who I truly am. And that, more than anything, has given me the strength to look forward to the future with hope. Hey Greg, I just got back from my lunch break. I picked up some house listings while I was out. The realtor gave me some great options in our price range.
Oh, hey, Sarah, welcome back. House listings? I didn't know you were looking at houses.
Well, I thought it would be good to start researching. Remember how we talked about it last year? About getting our own place once we hit our savings goal?
Right, yeah, that conversation.
Yeah. Our savings should hit 100K soon, right? Between my 50K from before we got married and what we've been saving together. I've been tracking our monthly deposits.
Yeah, it's probably around that much. Listen, Sarah, I need to tell you something.
There's this cute colonial-style house I saw. 3-bedroom, 2-bath. Perfect starter home. Do you want to see the photos?
Maybe not right now.
Why not? I mean, we've been talking about this for ages. I was thinking maybe it's a perfect time to look at buying a house. I'd love one with a big yard. Do you have any preferences? We could start with virtual tours this weekend.
Yeah, about that. I used your $100,000 savings to help Megan, so a house isn't happening anytime soon.
What? You used it? The entire $100K? I never heard anything about this. Please, tell me you're joking.
Well, yeah, I knew you'd be mad if I told you, but it's done now.
Mad doesn't begin to cover it. When did this happen? How long have you known our savings were gone?
Does it matter? What's done is done. We can't go back and change it.
Of course it matters. We're talking about $100K here. That's a lot of money. Even for a married couple, that's not an amount you used without discussing it first. I've been planning viewings for next week. I've been researching mortgage rates.
Yeah, my bad. I'm sorry. Megan was really happy to get the money for her years studying abroad. You'll just have to save up again. It's not that big a deal.
Not that big a deal? Do you hear yourself? We've been saving for years. Half of that money was from before we even got married.
Come on, don't be dramatic. Money comes and goes. You make good money at your job. Just start saving again.
No, that's not the point here. And why does your sister need $100K for studying abroad? That makes no sense. A year abroad doesn't cost anywhere near that much.
She needed the money. You know how it is with school these days. Everything's expensive.
A full year abroad usually costs 20 to 30K, even at the most expensive programs. Where exactly is she studying?
Europe somewhere. Look, does it matter? She needed the money.
Come on, you must know where your own sister is going to study. Which country? Which university?
Come on, don't be like that. You know our family situation. I've told you how toxic my parents are. They wouldn't help her at all.
I know what you've told me. That they'd take your paychecks and get physical when they were angry. But that doesn't explain why Megan needs $100K. Or why you didn't tell me before using our savings.
Someone from your privileged background wouldn't understand, but they're not the type of parents who'd pay for study abroad. Megan needed an escape. I had to help her.
You've told me this many times. But Megan still lives at home. If things are so bad, why hasn't she moved out?
She's struggling there right now. As her brother, I wanted to help her out. Give her a chance at a better life. You'd do the same for your sister.
Don't bring my sister into this. If I were helping her, I'd discuss it with you first. Even so, the amount is ridiculous. You could have at least talked to me first. And just recently, you bought that expensive road bike without telling me too. Is there a pattern here I should know about?
The bike was different. That was just a small purchase. This was family.
A $3,000 bike isn't a small purchase. And this was my family's future too. Our house down payment. Our emergency fund. Everything we've worked for.
Look, what's done is done. Megan needed my help, so I helped her. End of story.
I'm starting to have a hard time trusting you. First the bike, and now this. What else haven't you told me?
Nothing, I swear. Sorry. Don't be mad. We can work this out.
When exactly did you send her this money? Because last week you were talking about our vacation plans. Were you planning that knowing our savings were gone?
Does it matter when? The money's spent. She's happy, that's what matters.
It matters to me. Everything about this matters to me. The timing, the amount, the secrecy. I can't believe you do this.
Look, can we just move past this? What's done is done. We can start saving again. Maybe cut back on eating out. Skip that vacation we talked about.
Skip the vacation? The one you suggested last week? Knowing our savings were gone? I can't even look at you right now.
Come on, don't be like that. We're family. Family helps family, right?
Not today. I'm staying at my friend's place to cool off. I need time to think about this whole situation.
You're just overreacting. It's just money. We can make more.
Just money? It was our future. And you threw it away without even talking to me. Don't contact me for a while. I need space to figure this out.
Fine, be that way. You'll calm down eventually. You always do.
Don't count on it this time. This isn't something I can just get over. You betrayed my trust completely.
Whatever. Text me when you're done being dramatic. Megan says thanks, by the way. At least someone appreciates what I did.
Appreciates spending my money? Money I saved before we even met? I'm turning off my phone now. Don't bother messaging me.
Sarah, you're still not coming home? It's been 2 weeks now. The house feels empty without you.
What did you expect? That I'd just get over it?
I mean, kind of. We're married. Couples fight about money all the time.
This isn't a fight about money. This is about trust and respect for one another.
I get that you're mad, but come on! 2 weeks is a bit much, don't you think? Even my coworkers are asking where you are.
What did you tell them? That you stole my life savings to help your sister?
Hey, I didn't steal anything. It was our joint account, and I was helping the family.
Keep telling yourself that. Maybe eventually you'll believe it.
Look, I said I was sorry. What more do you want from me?
Saying sorry doesn't replace 100. Sorry doesn't rebuild trust.
You're being cold. This isn't like you. Where's my loving wife?
She's gone. Just like our savings.
Sarah, please! I miss you! Can't we talk about this?
I'm not mad anymore. I'm just disappointed. Disappointed in myself for marrying someone like you.
What's that supposed to mean? Why are you being so harsh?
I met with your parents.
You did what? Why would you meet them? That's crossing a line. You had no right.
I had every right to do so. Megan still lives at home, right? I thought they might know more about the study abroad details. Funny how they knew nothing about it.
You went behind my back. After everything I told you about them, how could you?
No, how could you? How could you lie about everything?
I mean, yeah, but still, you shouldn't have gone there. They're manipulative. They'll say anything to make me look bad.
Well, meeting them helped me understand why you called them toxic. They had to lie to me just to be civil. Must have been hard for them. Pretending they didn't know what their son really is.
See? Even you can tell they're toxic. They've always been like this.
Oh, they're toxic, all right. They had to be toxic to make up all those lies you told me. To protect your reputation. To give you a chance to come clean.
What lies are you talking about? I've always been honest with you.
Really? Let's talk about honesty. That story about them taking your paychecks? Turns out you were the one stealing from their wallets, even taking their grocery money. And when you got caught, you threw a tantrum instead of paying them back. Sound familiar?
Oh, that. They told you about that?
They showed me the police report. And the bank statements. You've been doing this your whole life, haven't you? Taking what isn't yours?
That was different. I was young. I needed money for...
For what? For gambling? For drugs? Your parents told me everything.
They don't know everything. They only know their version.
In that story about them getting physical, you struck first. You hit them when they tried to discipline you for stealing their money again. They only defended themselves. Your father still has the scar.
That's just their version of events. You weren't there. You don't know what really happened.
No, but I saw the hospital records. I saw the restraining order they had to get. The one they dropped because they still loved you.
They showed you all that? Just to make me look bad? See, this is what I mean about toxic.
Then why don't your parents know anything about Megan's study abroad program? She lives with them. Even if she's keeping quiet, there's a limit to what she can hide. It's pretty impossible for them not to know about their daughter going abroad.
They probably forgot, or Megan hasn't told them yet. It's complicated.
No, it's actually very simple. There is no study abroad program, is there?
Ugh, this is exactly why I didn't want you meeting them. They've turned you against me.
They didn't turn me against you. You did that all by yourself. With every lie, every theft, every manipulation.
You don't understand. I had my reasons.
Is that your way of admitting the study abroad thing was a lie? That you and Megan cooked this up together?
Fine. Yeah, the study abroad thing was a lie, but so what? Like I said before, it was my account, our joint property. I had every right to use the money.
So you think it's okay to use it without asking? To lie about why you needed it? To make up stories about abuse?
Actually, yeah. And get this, spouses can't sue each other over money disputes. You can't even claim damages. There's nothing you can do. Even if you divorce me, you're never getting that $100,000 back. So you might as well come home. We can work this out.
You really think you've got it all figured out, don't you?
I know the law. I looked it up. You're stuck with it.
If that's how you feel, do whatever you want. I hope you can keep that confidence till the end. But remember this moment. When you thought you were so clever. When you thought you had won.
What are you planning? Sarah! You can't do anything! The law's on my side!
We'll see about that. By the way, your parents send their love. They said they're always here for you. Even after everything. That's what real family looks like.
Don't talk about my family! You don't know anything!
I know enough. I know who the real toxic one is. And soon, everyone else will too. Hi, Megan. I know your study abroad program is a lie. Are you ready to face the consequences? Or should we talk about where that money really went?
Wow, Sarah, are you trying to be scary? Give it a rest. You're just bitter because Greg chose to help me instead of buying your dream house.
Is that what he told you? That he chose to help you? With money that wasn't his to give?
Money, money, money. That's all you care about, isn't it? No wonder Greg complains about you all the time.
I talked to your parents. I know what you and your brother have really been up to. How you've been causing them trouble, stealing money, acting out. The same pattern over and over.
Oh, so they spilled everything already. Guess I don't need to play nice anymore. Did they tell you about all their rules? Their expectations? How they try to control everything?
They told me about the credit card theft, about the parties when they were away, about the car you crashed, the one they're still paying off.
Whatever. Ancient history anyway. Not like you can do anything about it now.
Not yet. You're still trying to justify your actions. No wonder your parents are at their wits' end. You have zero intention of taking responsibility, just like your brother.
Spare me the lecture. And stop acting like you're my sister. It's super cringe. You're just Greg's wife. For now.
That wasn't my intention. But you really should have listened to your parents. Your future could have been so different. Instead of being caught up in this mess.
What mess? I got my money. End of story.
Your money? You mean my money? The money Greg stole from our joint account?
He didn't steal anything. He said it was his to use. You're just being dramatic about it.
What are you even talking about?
You trying to do something about the money? Too bad for you. Greg told me all about it. Financial disputes between family members are exempt from legal action. You can't touch me.
So you admit Greg gave you money? Hush money, right? To keep quiet about something?
Yeah, but I already spent it all. Not that it matters. There's nothing you can do about it. Greg made sure of that.
Nothing I can do? Is that supposed to be a joke? Did you really think this through?
What? Greg said we were covered. That you couldn't do anything legally.
I mean, you really think there's nothing I can do? Whatever Greg told you, the exemption from financial claims only applies to spouses and direct family members. Which means I can absolutely sue you for damages. Every single penny.
Wait, what? No way. You're bluffing. Greg said
a lot of things. Most of them were lies. Do you want to know what the truth is?
This isn't fair. You can't do this to me. I'm family.
Did you really think you could use someone else's money without permission and get away with it? I don't know how much you took, but you're paying back every cent. With interest.
Hold on, wait. This isn't what we agreed to. Greg said it would be fine. And I'm your sister-in-law. Don't you feel bad doing this to your family?
Oh, didn't your brother tell you? When I decide to do something, I go all the way. Family or not. You made your choice when you took my money.
You're making a mistake. Greg won't let you do this. He'll stop you.
Greg can't even help himself right now. What makes you think he can help you? My lawyer will be in touch. Hope that money was worth it.
You're just jealous. Jealous that Greg loves me more than you. That's what this is really about.
Love? Is that what you call this? Using each other to steal money? Lying to everyone around you?
You don't understand our family. You never have. You're just an outsider.
You're right about one thing. I am an outsider. Which means I can see exactly what you both are. And I'm done playing nice about it.
Whatever. Do your worst. You'll regret this.
No, Megan. You'll regret this. Every time you check your bank account. Every time you have to explain to future employers. Every time you remember how you chose to spend stolen money. You'll regret it all.
Sarah, I got the notice from your lawyer today about damages. But I can't pay $25,000. Please drop this. This isn't fair.
Isn't fair? Like how you spent my money without permission? That kind of isn't fair?
That was different. Greg said it was okay. He said it was his money too.
So you had no problem spending money that wasn't yours? Then you need to figure out how to pay it back. That's how responsibility works.
You're being cruel. You know I don't have that kind of money. I'm just a student.
A student who had no problem spending $25,000 of stolen money. Funny how you didn't think about the consequences then.
You don't understand. I literally can't pay. I'm 19 and still in college. Even if I stood on my head, I couldn't come up with this kind of money. My whole semester is ruined because of this.
Well, you're legally an adult. You knew exactly where this money came from when Greg gave it to you, and you spent it anyway. Now you're being sued for damages, so you have to pay. That's how the real world works.
The real world? You think you're teaching me about the real world? By destroying my life?
You destroyed your own life. Every time you accepted money you knew wasn't yours. Every time you lied about it. Those were your choices.
Even if that's true, I still can't. My parents are furious and won't even pay my tuition anymore. How am I supposed to come up with $25,000 in this situation? They're making me move out.
That's not my problem. Besides, I heard from your parents that they told you to drop out and start working. You can start paying from those earnings. Time to grow up.
They told you that too? They've turned everyone against me. Even my friends won't talk to me anymore.
Maybe because they found out what you did? Actions have consequences, Megan. Welcome to adulthood.
That's just what they're saying. I've never even had a job. This amount is impossible. You're ruining everything.
You're right. $25,000 isn't something you can pay off with just any job. Depending on where you work, your first year's salary might not even be $25,000. Should have thought about that before spending it.
You're enjoying this, aren't you? Watching my life fall apart. Is this revenge against Greg?
This isn't about enjoyment. This is about responsibility. Something you clearly need to learn about.
Exactly! So please, stop this! Plus, Greg's the one who's really at fault. He's the one who took the money.
But you knew what that money was when you took it and spent it. Didn't you? You knew it wasn't just Greg's money.
Well, yeah, but Greg's the one who gave it to me. Why don't you just get it from him? He's your husband. Go after him instead.
Oh, don't worry. I'm dealing with Greg too. But that doesn't let you off the hook.
This isn't right. I'm about to lose everything. My school, my home, my friends. All because of money?
You've always blamed others for everything, haven't you? That's why you had no problem stealing from your parents and spending $25,000 without thinking about the consequences. Time to face reality.
Reality? Reality is I can't pay this. Reality is you're destroying my life. Reality is my own parents won't even help me.
Maybe there's a lesson in that. About trust. About responsibility. About growing up.
I hate you. I hate what you're doing to our family. Greg was right about you all along.
What exactly did Greg say about me? That I wouldn't let him steal my money? That I wouldn't let you both get away with it? If that makes me the bad guy, so be it.
You'll never get your money. I'll declare bankruptcy first. Then what will you do?
Go ahead. Start your adult life with bankruptcy. See how that works out for you. But the debt won't go away. Neither will I.
Sarah, I know I messed up completely here. I swear, I'll never do anything like this again. Please forgive me. We can start over.
Start over? After everything you've done? After all the lies?
I know it looks bad, but I can explain everything. Just call off your lawyer.
You and your sister are both absolutely hopeless. Instead of making excuses, why don't you just pay the damages? Take responsibility for once in your life.
Come on, we're talking about $75,000 here. Even after taking it from the asset division, that still leaves $50,000. I can't come up with that kind of money. You're being unreasonable.
I never said you had to pay it all at once. Take your time, but pay it back. And remember, I warned you. I told you I'd never forgive you. You left it off then, didn't you?
That was different. I didn't think you'd actually do this. Go this far.
Of course you didn't. You thought I was weak. That I'd just accept whatever you did. Like everyone else in your life.
I said I was sorry. I didn't think it would turn out like this. Megan's life is ruined. My parents won't even talk to me.
Actions have consequences. Isn't that what you always say? When you're lecturing others?
This is different. You're destroying our family over money.
No, you destroyed our family. The moment you decided to steal from me. The moment you involved your sister in your schemes.
Look, about the $50,000 we saved together, that's one thing. But why do I have to pay back all of it? I helped save that money too. This isn't fair. I earned some of that money.
You're right. It's exactly like you say. But guess what? I have the legal right to demand this from you. If you hadn't done something so stupid, you wouldn't be paying back such a huge amount. You brought this on yourself.
This isn't funny. Come on, can't you cut me some slack? For old time's sake? Remember how good things used to be?
Used to be? You mean before I knew who you really were? Before I discovered all your lies?
I can change! I'll get help! Therapy, counseling, whatever you want!
By the way, looking at your bank statements, you started taking money right after we got married. Back then, the only money in that account was my personal savings. Care to explain that?
I just needed some cash then! For some investments! I was gonna pay it back!
Then why didn't you just ask me? But you didn't, did you? You knew it was my personal money. You planned this from the start.
Look, I really messed up. It was just, I got tempted. Seeing all that money just sitting there, not being used.
Not being used? It was being used. For our future. The future you stole.
Okay, yes, the money was part of it. But I really did love you. I loved you and still used your money and lied about my parents. Doesn't that count for something that I loved you?
That's some cheap love. You're a terrible businessman, you know that? Can't even value things properly.
What's that supposed to mean? Why are you being so harsh? Just tell me what you want.
You sold your cheap love to the wrong person. You thought you could get away with anything because I was just some stupid woman. But my poison turned out to be stronger than you expected. It's coursing through your whole body now, destroying your life. I didn't prepare any antidote, so keep paying until the poison works its way out.
You're scaring me! This isn't like you! What happened to the Sarah I married?
She woke up. She saw you for what you really are. A thief. A liar. A coward.
I can fix this! Just give me another chance! We could start over, please!
No, Greg. This is the end. Keep making your payments. It's all you're good for now.
You'll regret this! Being so cold! So heartless!
Like you regret stealing from me? Like you regret involving your sister? Like you regret destroying your family?
This isn't over! You haven't heard the last from me!
Actually, I have. Goodbye, Greg. Enjoy your new life. I hear minimum wage jobs are always hiring. The damages Sarah claimed from Megan and Greg were approved by the court. As Megan had admitted, she couldn't pay the $25,000 herself with no work experience. Her parents stepped in to cover her debt to Sarah, paying it in full. However, this only shifted Megan's debt to her parents. Now she works day and night to pay them back. Her parents had her sign a formal contract for the debt, so there's no escaping it. As for Greg, after having $25,000 deducted from his share of the marital assets, he was left with almost nothing, now struggling to pay back the remaining $50,000 while living on his own. Having burned bridges with his family, he has no one to turn to for help. It seems it will take quite a while for Greg to clear Sarah's poison from his system. Meanwhile, Sarah used the recovered money to buy her dream home, albeit a much smaller one than originally planned. While it's an older house that could use some work, she's grown fond of its weathered charm. The yard, though much smaller than what she dreamed of, has become her favorite feature. After watching what happened to Greg and Megan when they reached beyond their means, she's come to appreciate that this modest yard represents the right size of happiness for her life.